The first trace of light, the first sign of dawn.
All right. It's a perfect excuse not to go to work.
The sun rises, ready to shine its light on new life.
We're going in.
All the while, the tide rushes in a new day.
The excitement on the people's faces that come to see it is just very special. We've even had people cry. I thought, whoa.
Mary Pringle has spent the past 20 years tending to the most tender of creatures.
This nest was laid on the 18th of May, and we have no idea how many eggs were laid because we did not relocate it. So we're going to have to count the eggshells and see. We hope some turtles are still in there. Might not be because it was 3 days ago.
Mary helps lead the island turtle team.
Hoping we'd find one close to the surface. The eggs are very deep.
And is always an arm's length away.
We need a bucket.
We've got it, we've got it.
Yay. Good morning, happy birthday.
There's another one stuck in the side.
One by one, baby turtles are recovered.
We always check to make sure they're mature and ready to go into the ocean. If not, we have to put them back in the sand to finish. But these are all mature.
10 in all. Another check mark to Mary's bucket list.
I've always been interested in nature, enjoy it very much. You feel like you're making a difference in rescuing and helping with the conservation of species that might not be doing so well if we didn't help.
Once the scrambled eggs are separated,
But there's just yolk in there, there's no turtle.
the babies are carried to the ocean.
Put them right in there.
Under the watchful eyes of volunteers and curious turtle seekers.
Having other people come and see the inventories and see the hatchling turtles, it brings it back to us again about how important this is and what a privilege it is to be able to do what we do.
To see it happen is nothing short of amazing. To understand the turtle's journey, mind-boggling.
It's a very moving thing to see a young loggerhead just beginning its life. He has to swim out to the Gulf Stream and then migrate across the Atlantic Ocean, and they're so tiny, they're 2 inches long. How in the world can a creature like that do it? It's very special.
The struggle is real for these little guys. Only 1 in 1,000 hatchlings will live to adulthood. The good news, recent studies show the loggerhead population is trending upwards.
So that was only the first of 8 nests on Sullivans to hatch. We've had about 13 hatch out of 40 on Isle of Palm so far. So we're not halfway there yet.
Her bag stays packed, her bucket always full. Mary Pringle is on the move.
So what should we do? Somebody go home by way of 28 and a half and 32?
You're so cute.
Saving more turtles. Just a day away.
Glad the turtles put on a show for you. That was the important part.
Shh. There's a secret. Floating around Pepper Hill Elementary.
All right, let's see what you build.
An idea sturdier than a marshmallow and toothpick prism.
Oh, I see some people are getting creative. All right, Edwin, how are you going to make them stand on their own?
A question Katie Blomquist asked herself several times.
Cube. It's made up of. I just thought it would be a nice thing to do. I had no idea what I was getting myself into.
Getting her kids up and moving was just a small part of it.
It's the basic childhood right is joy, and every single child deserves that. And a bike, I think, is one of the top things that represents that.
And with that,
I need everyone's eyes.
her Tinkerbell moment.
So it's gonna be rectangular or what? Yeah, awesome. They wanted to make family memories, a sense of ownership. A lot of Title I children don't actually own anything that's theirs.
Muscle and might helped make it happen.
What can I do to help? And the rest is history.
A North Charleston church served as a staging area. Meet the Good Hands people, assembling radio flyers. On their off time,
Good to go.
Katie spoke up, asked for volunteers.
My wife saw it on Facebook, and so
Let's get this tire.
we decided to come down here and help out.
With each twist and turn and a tongue roll, the community came out. 100 bikes for the Tykes.
Trust me, it's gonna get easy.
I don't know very many cities where the community would, strangers, come together, take off from work and come assemble bikes for kids they don't know, for a teacher they've never heard of.
Katie's big opening came when a Florida bike on King Street agreed to be the missing link, designing and piecing together 550 bikes, all appropriately named the Future.
This is a chance for them to truly own something of value. It's a sense of therapy. It's, you know, just ride as fast as you can and feel the wind in your face and kind of decompress from a day.
2 tractor trailers filled with bikes ready to be delivered.
It became 1,000 times more amazing than I ever dreamed.
Katie's GoFundMe page raised more than $80,000 to make it all possible.
Actual people who gave actual hard-earned money to them to spread some joy to them.
It took all of 3 months.
You know, I had this idea and look what it's become. And it's overwhelming.
One person can change the world. Right?
The silence of Katie's secret. Broken.
Miss Blomquist, where are you?
And all it took was 10 seconds.
Today is the day that every single one of you Pepper Hill students is getting a brand new bike!
The ultimate hands-on teaching moment of giving back fittingly ends with a victory lap.
Get a new bike!
One of the roads to international commerce leads to the Wando Welch Port Terminal. Securing and inspecting more than 2 million containers is the job of U.S. Customs and Border Protection, also known as CBP. Vehicle and container inspection systems scan steel boxes filled with cargo. They can detect dangerous amounts of radiation intended for sinister purposes.
That's counts per second.
Officers also use handheld rad seekers to examine tractor trailers before they hit the road.
Similar to how you go to the doctor and get an x-ray of your chest, you can think of it the same way with our equipment. So you don't necessarily have to open the container in order to see what's inside.
We're trying to keep bad things and bad people out of the country.
Robert Fensel is the area port director for CBP. He explains how each unit goes through radiation screening. It's one of the steps in anti-terrorism efforts.
Every one of these containers, we want to make sure that everything in there is safe. We want to make sure that what is in there is what the company said it is. We want to make sure that if it's a food product, it's safe for consumption.
When there are concerns about shipments, officers open the doors so agricultural specialists can examine the contents. Onions from Colombia could carry harmful insects that might spread in the U.S. If more research is needed, products are sent here to the centralized inspection station in North Charleston. At a special lab, agricultural specialists carefully study microscopic bugs.
This Asian gypsy moth has a voracious appetite.
They also check boxes bound for U.S. stores.
Making sure we don't find anything that we're not supposed to.
Dangerous bugs, illegal drugs, or counterfeit items can be found in shipments. Even wooden shipping crates are vulnerable.
A lot of things can be treated here when we find it, but if you find a wood-boring pest inside the wood, it's an automatic re-export.
It's a rare look at the largest law enforcement agency in the federal government, and it has a big impact on the Lowcountry and the world.
We're not just part of the local community, we are a part of a global community.
It's like a treasure hunt on the water. But crabbers often pull up more than they bargain for.
You get everything in there. Flounder, sheep's head, black drum, whiting. It's just sometimes unlimited.
Robert Solat, who goes by Farmer Robert, is one of 29 commercial crabbers testing a redesigned bycatch reduction device, also known as an excluder. The device is designed to draw blue crabs in, but keep terrapin turtles out. Trapped turtles are a problem around the Cape Remain Wildlife Refuge.
They're all over back here. There was a turtle head right here, went right under. In areas like this, if I was to remain crabbing, if I pulled 20 crab pots, there could be 20 terrapins. You might have 3 in one in another.
We've greatly reduced the size of terrapins that can get in.
Over on his farm, specialists with the Department of Natural Resources outfit all of Farmer Robert's traps, clipping and fastening the new excluders.
So that diagonal is really the most important dimension.
DNR scientist Mike Arendt says it's been tough to reel commercial crabbers in. Many worry losing out on larger catch.
The majority of crabs that people catch are this size and smaller.
We're interested in finding out how this negatively affects, if it negatively affects crab catch.
But the excluders haven't slowed the crab bus.
We did it over the winter time, and there was absolutely no difference in the catch, and we used them for several months.
It's a way of giving back what's taken out.
It's about finding that balance, with the environment and going for being as sustainable as possible, making your footprints, your negative footprints, as minimal as possible.
Cutting down on needless waste, one crab trap at a time.
We kind of have a feeling for things like that. It's just in a conscience. It just doesn't seem right.
In McClellanville, I'm Caroline Balchunas reporting.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
We're just here this morning, just, reflecting on that day. Regardless of whatever events take place, we're always going to make sure that 9/11 has a level of significance, and it's important to us all. We've had people from all over the nation in different states. We're represented here this morning. We've got probably about 800 people here this morning.
Welcome to the 4th annual 9/11 Silent Walk.
Mark has an incredible story, a story that is real and it's true.
For the 343 fire personnel that walked today and represented my brothers within the FDNY, I thank you. We thank you from the deepest depths of our hearts. Your efforts in supporting us is a debt that can never be repaid.
For him to be here and be that brave to be with us and to bravely speak and share his story, it's incredible. The first year we did this, we did it with 4 people. So, if I had to be here alone, I'd be here alone.
Your appreciation of our efforts and your own dedication to continually carry the torch of the brotherhood is what makes the fire department the greatest job on earth. Thank you, brothers.